What is going on, everybody? My name is Conor Lawler. Welcome back to a week of Hero or Zero. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back off holidays to talk DC characters in the Hero or Zero episode. I am joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Meehan. Shaun, how's it going?
Good, Conor. Very good to be back.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I heard about DC characters just rattled off to me over Google Meet, so I'm really looking forward to this.
The last episode that we did, well, you did, was the solo Q&A, if anyone hasn't heard it. I gotta admit, Shaun, I really enjoyed it because I had to do no work.
You did not.
I just had a bit of a listen.
Oh, you know what it's like to be Shaun on every week of the podcast.
It was really enjoyable.
Would recommend, let me tell you. The opportunity ever comes up.
On your end?
I was in bits, like before, because I was like... Because usually I have you to bounce off or save me when I go off on a lunatic tangent. But it was all on me this time. But I think I did okay. I think I did all right.
I thought you did excellent. I think everyone agrees, right?
Oh, well, thank you to everyone who sent in questions for that as well.
Yeah,
because without you, it would have been a real awkward show.
So I am back from holidays, and as punishment for leaving everyone, we decided this was my week for Hero Zero, right? You gotta take it on the shoulders, let's do this. And this week, Shaun, I actually had one already kind of lined up because two of our lovely listeners, Connor and Lorraine, who messaged us on Instagram a few weeks ago, and it was before my previous report, and they said they would love to hear about Klarion the Witch Boy. Now,
say again?
It's Klarion the Witch Boy, or Klarion Bleak. Now, a lot of people won't know him as kind of that. I think the main way you would know Klarion is through Young Justice, because he's like a major player as a villain in that.
Right. Okay. And we've all seen Young Justice.
Shaun has not seen Young Justice, which hinders this greatly. But all of us who have watched stuff that involves superheroes and animated shows, he was in Justice League Unlimited, and he was also in Batman the Animated Series. I'm really trying to connect, Shaun.
Just give me anything, man. Please.
Just any branch. So he's basically like a teenager who's a magician, and he's like super powerful, like godlike in terms of powers.
Okay.
But he's also petulant, and he's 12, and he doesn't give a shit.
Okay. So he's like a Damian Wayne crossed with Zatanna.
Yes, in a weird way, yes.
I'm on board. Here we go.
The olive branch has been taken. We're connecting everyone. But before I get into this, if we could give us a like and review, whatever podcast platform that you're listening to this on. I noticed a Spotify review, Shaun. We're getting up there. There's more every week.
And positive?
Well, they're all -5, but I mean, they're still there. There.
Engagement is engagement.
All counts. This is the worst podcast ever. Thank you.
At least we're something.
Thanks, mother. Okay, so to get into Klarion Bleak, or Klarion the Witch Boy, I want to first state that I've mixed up a lot of his origins in terms of the fact that having done reports or done research for this, there's a whole bunch of stuff that would just confuse everybody because there's 9,000 characters, and there's magical landscapes, and there's demons, but they're all named, they all have specific names, and you have to know each one. So I just felt like it would confuse everyone, and it would confuse me, more importantly, trying to keep up with all of it. So I simplified it. We've streamlined it.
Okay, that's fine. That's what this show is actually. That was the intention of this show when we conceived it.
And what I've also done is kind of thrown in a lot of his Young Justice origins as well, just because I think he's most famous from that show, so I thought, and he's kind of rare just in terms of comics. But Klarion was created, Shaun, by one man and one man alone. And this is going to be interesting because DC Comics, he was created by one Jack Kirby. If you know of Jack Kirby, Shaun?
Famous Marvel man Jack Kirby.
One of the most famous Marvel men.
Yeah, but infamously had a falling out with Stan Lee in the 80s, I think?
70s.
70s, excuse me. And did independent comics and worked for DC for a large part of his career. It was more,
him and Stan came up with Spider-Man, and then he was like, they had a little bit of... Go on.
Oh, sorry, not to hijack the report, but he came up with Silver Surfer, I believe.
Yes.
And then Stan was like, okay, I'm doing a Silver Surfer solo comic. You're not a part of it at all.
And so then there was a bit of a falling out. So Jack said, fuck you, I'm going to DC. And then he just started coming up between yourself and myself. Super weird characters, just real
Mr.
magical.
Miracle and shit like that.
Real magical and weird.
Just lunacy. This is the man who made the Eternals as well.
Does not give a fuck, Jack didn't. Anyway, so he comes across, he creates Klarion the Witch Boy, who first appeared in March of 1973. So when Klarion first appeared, he was from a dimension called Witch World, and everyone in this dimension...
World?
Witch World.
Sorry,
okay,
that's
I'm not even going to respond to that.
I'm done. I'm
just back
now.
from holidays. Could use black... So everyone in this dimension could use black magic. But Klarion was actually considered a child in this dimension. And that meant it was basically dictated what kind of magic he could use, when he could use it, and what kind of life he was allowed to lead. So you weren't allowed to just use your magic freely until you became an adult.
Right. Okay. It's kind of... It's like you have to... Is it like that you have to learn to control it, or that it's just like... It's a privilege to use it.
It's a privilege, I think. I think you get maybe it's a bit of teaching and then also a privilege as well. So this did not go down well with young Klarion, and so he's decided that, well, if you're not going to let me use my magic, I'm going to use my magic to basically rebel and leave this place and go dimension hopping to Earth.
He's going to take a gap year. And
he's going to take a gap year to Earth, yeah, and he's just never going to return.
Right. And sorry now, so is it like he escapes this place, or he's allowed to leave on his own?
No, he escapes. Well, it's not. It's more like fuck you. If I'm not allowed to use my magic, okay. I'm leaving.
Fair enough. I respect it.
And he leaves with his cat, who's very famous, Teakle. And that is, they say he's familiar, but what they basically mean is Teakle is his anchor to the earthly plane. So as long as he has Teakle, he's able to be on Earth. And the minute he loses Teakle, he gets transported immediately back.
That's really interesting. That he has this, and the animal, like Teakle, has a mind of its own and can leave if he wants. I'm sure. Yes. Cool. So,
so the two of them travelled around the world learning magic and basically just causing chaos wherever he went, because he was kind of a chaos god at this point.
Okay.
So he's from the chaos god branch. So he's just like, I'm here to fuck shit up. And shithousery at the finest.
And that makes sense then, if he didn't like, he left because he didn't like the rules and the restrictions that were placed on him. So now he's just like, okay, full chaos, why not?
So one of the most interesting stories about Klarion is actually around 10,000 BC, he comes to Earth. Okay?
Okay.
And this is in terms of his Young Justice origin, so this is where they kind of get it. But he comes to Earth and he visited a village known as Atlantis, which was obviously populated by a number of people there, Shaun.
On dry land at the time,
Dry land at the time, yes.
Drylantis, of course.
Drylantis, as they called it back then, but there was no need.
There was no need. It was the only kind of Lantis there was.
Someone came up with it and someone said, that doesn't make any sense. All the rest of the land is also dry.
Do you know something we don't? Because...
That's Captain Forsyth over there. He comes to Atlantis and basically he's there to torment. It causes a bit of chaos, and there's a bunch of people there, but he's like, people are dickheads. So he starts tormenting the inhabitants just for funs,
just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, and despite a sizable portion of the village being super-powered meta-humans, they were helpless to oppose the Chaos Lord's wrath, who subsequently massacred most of the populace and set fire to the village's buildings.
Jesus Christ. I find it really hard to get on board with this guy.
He's a villain, Shaun.
Good, says I.
By the time you were like, I'm getting bad vibes from this guy committing genocide.
Him and Batman must not get on.
By the time of the return of the village's founder, Vander Adge, so Vander Adge, he's the founder of the village, Shaun. He comes back from work, I assume, with his little suitcase, briefcase.
His little paper bag with his lunch in it.
And he walks through the door and everything's on fire and everyone he knows is dead. Now, I'm not thinking Vander Adge. It's a weird name. Vander Adge, otherwise known as Vandal Savage.
The immortal man?
The immortal Vandal Savage, who is the founder of Atlantis in DC comic books.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know he's a character who's like popped up throughout history and has been involved in a load of major events. I didn't know he founded Atlantis.
Super powered as well, like one of the biggest Justice League villains of all times. And also, as you said, he's immortal. Cannot die, Vandal Savage. So he's always around. I think he came in like the 47th millennium of Earth or something shit. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But Klarion, when I'm going to call him Vandal Savage, but he's named Vander Adge. He's also, his name changes throughout this because he changes his name every 10,000 or 1,000 years, so it's not the same person.
That makes a lot of sense.
So Vandal Savage comes back, and Klarion is sitting atop a mount of Atlantean corpses, surrounded by the burning ruins of the village, laughing hysterically.
That's a prick move right there.
Vandal Savage is actually like sad in this one. He's like, oh.
They make you feel bad for Vandal Savage in this.
Strange one. And so he comes back. His whole place is burning to the ground. Everyone is dead. He's deeply horrified and angered at what the witch boy has done. So Vandal decides, I'm going to fucking attack him. I'm going to take this guy out. Only for Klarion to effortlessly kill Vandal Savage with the snap of his fingers.
But you said he was immortal.
Yes.
How did he kill him?
To his joyful surprise, Klarion watched as Vandal rose once again. For the next 300 days, Klarion sadistically tortured Vandal, each day killing him in a new and brutal manner, only to see him rise up again.
This is fucked. A year. He tortures him for a year.
Yes, just for shits and giggles.
Just because he can. Just because it's interesting.
Remember, this is just a 12-year-old dickhead.
Yeah, but that's even more terrifying though. Yeah. He's like a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
And Vandal Savage doesn't stand a hope of killing him.
Yeah, he's not a match for him. Like, because this dude's a god. Yeah.
Yeah, Vandal Savage is like Vandal Savage is super powerful and he's immortal, but he's not a god. He's just a super powerful guy.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, as I said, to his joyful surprise, Vandal just keeps getting back up. So, he's like, I'm going to figure out ways to kill him.
I was going to say, is he pissed? Like, I'm assuming he's pissed off the entire time, but can't leave because he's a god.
Yeah. So Vandal's persistence eventually intrigues Klarion enough to stop killing him for one day and listen to what the human had to say. It was during the conversation that Klarion was informed of what he was and the greater conflict between the Lords of Chaos and the Lords of Order, which is like basically like the Eternals, or the ones above the Eternals. The
Celestials.
What's the guy? The Celestial, yes, exactly. And so, realising he was no match against the witch boy, Vandal proposes a bargain with Klarion.
Good move, Vandal.
I've died 302 times so far.
Let's make a deal.
I've got something you need, I'm assuming. So Vandal proposes a bargain with Klarion to cease his attack against him and Atlantis. Perplexed by their request, Klarion asks, why? Obviously, what do I have to gain? Only for Vandal to retort that if he gave him 1,000 years, he would show him. So, satisfied, Klarion agrees and promptly disappears.
I guess, even if Vandal is lying to Klarion, and he's like, I'm just going to run away. Like, Klarion knows he can find him, and he'll just torture him forever again. Yeah,
so he comes to Earth, and just for the first place he attacks is Vandal Savage's Atlantis, Dry Atlantis, and he's just having great crack, killing him every single day, burning the whole place to the ground. And Vandal Savage is just like, give me 1,000 years, lad, and I'll show you why you should have kept me alive. I think I'll show you why I'm a good idea to keep her out. Big pressure on Vandal to kind of back this up in 1,000 years, but he's really put it into the wardrobe and just kind of forgotten about it.
That's it, yeah. Like, does he actively have something, or is he like, I'll probably figure it out?
I think he's winging it. I think he's Del Boying it.
You know what? I respect the hustle.
True to his word, Klarion returns to Atlantis exactly 1,000 years later to the day. Where at this point, the once... what?
Does Klarion sink Atlantis?
Where at this point, the once primitive village had grown into a sprawling, hyper-advanced metropolis that served as the capital of a continent.
Oh dear.
Vandal Savage, now going by the name of Varjat, but we're going to keep calling him Vandal, proposed a new bargain with the Chaos Lord, where, okay, you're allowed to destroy this city of Atlantis, okay? And sink it into the ocean.
Keep talking.
But you gotta leave the rest of the land that we have across the continent. Just this city. You can stick this in the ocean. That's the deal. So Klarion accepts. He's like, cool, this is a good way to unleash my magic. This is a cool task. Destroying Atlantis and killing tens of thousands of people.
Which Vandal is just fine with.
And not only were the people, one of them was Vandal's grandson and ruler of Atlantis. So Vandal sacrificed his own family to kind of live.
Just so he wouldn't be tortured again.
Yeah.
And he would get literally every other bit of land. That's a pretty good deal, honestly.
So, greatly enjoying the chaos he unleashed, Klarion, and by extension the Lords of Chaos, were not satisfied with the destruction of just one city. As such, Klarion continued to wreak havoc, ultimately destroying the entire Atlantean civilization by causing the continent to sink into the ocean.
Holy shit.
Yes.
I mean, how do you fight this dude?
Much to Vandal's shock, I will say.
Oh, Vandal was surprised that the Chaos God was like, more chaos, please.
Nevertheless, Klarion continued to actually partner with Vandal. So that'll tell you how, morally corrupt Vandal is. He's just trying to live. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, set up Atlantis. Okay, this Chaos God, he's got lots of power. Right, I'm with him. No matter what happens, I'll kill everyone. I never even liked this place.
Yeah. And then everything else goes down and he's still like, oh, okay, I'll give him another chance.
Yeah. He's hoping to be able to continue to cause chaos and destruction through Klarion, basically. So
right.
He's like, he can point Klarion at things he wants to destroy, and Klarion will do it for the crack.
I'm sure that'll end very well for everyone.
So in 1800 BC, so this is a lot of years after this, Klarion visited Vandal, then going by Marduk, but Vandal, in his Babylonian kingdom. So he's gone to Babylon now. And he's like, this is my new kingdom, because the other one sunk.
And this kingdom surely won't fall or be lost to history.
And offered him a solution to deal with his insubordinate generals. So Vandal's like, I've got a problem. I've got some insubordinate generals, and, I'm the leader around here. And Klarion, I really want you to clear this up. I think you're the man to really swiftly solve this.
What the fuck? He's so overqualified for that job, though. The man sunk a continent.
Just for the crack.
And he's like, listen, will you have words with these four lads? Because they're not obeying me.
One of the generals was called Naboo. Now, you might remember Naboo.
Star Wars.
Naboo, Nabu, is Dr. Fate. He's... So Naboo he's one of the generals, and he has protests, obviously. But Clarion's offer is accepted. So Clarion's like, I'll clear that up for you, lad. I'll sort these boys out. And so Vandal's like, great idea, perfect, you're the man for the job. And he proceeds to summon Starro.
The Conqueror.
Starro the Conqueror from deep space for the crack, because what's the most fun way to kill a whole civilization? Some generals.
Big starfish monster. If I had to pick.
Yeah. However, instead of subduing the Babylonian army to Vandal Savage's will, the creature put them under its own control, of course.
I mean, it's Starro. That's his whole thing.
So
is that he wants a big army.
The ensuing battle caused the death of Naboo and his subsequent ascension to the Lord of Order as Dr. Fate. So if Klarion doesn't get involved, Dr. Fate never gets promoted to the Lord of Order, and he ultimately ends up fighting Klarion a lot because it's the Lord of Chaos versus the Lord of Order.
So he makes his own antagonist. Klarion makes his own enemy
by being petulant.
Like a child, like a little witch boy.
And so, another one that was kind of one of the main stories I wanted to get to, of just him coming to Earth, and that's what he went through. Some more, like, two smaller things that he also did. Sometime later, there's a story called Sins of Youth, where Klarion joins forces with the Countessa and uses his witchcraft to switch the ages of Earth's teenage and adult heroes to sow chaos. And turn public opinion against them. So what he does is he turns all the adults into kids and all the kids into adults.
Like the Teen Titans become the adult Titans.
Yeah, but it also means all the sidekicks become older than their heroes.
That's wild.
So you have
That's really fun.
So Robin is now older than Batman. Batman is 12 and Robin is 25.
But do they still have their minds?
They still have their minds, but they're now in children's bodies.
That's hilarious. I want a little 12-year-old Batman running around.
There's actually an episode of Justice League Unlimited where it's called Kid Stuff, and it's an episode where Batman... I actually think the episode is based off Sins of Youth, the storyline, but they don't use Klarion as the villain, but they use another, evil witch boy who changes all the ages of everyone. And he gets rid of all the parents. And so all the adults...
Oh, you've told me about this.
Yeah, all the adults disappear. And so Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern and Superman get de-aged. They get turned down to 12-year-old them. And then they go into this world because they obviously are going to disappear as well. And that I think that storyline is... I think it's very much inspired by Sins of Youth. Because I think Sins of Youth was 2001. I assume that episode was probably 2004. Somewhere around there. Afterwards, Klarion was actually targeted by one of our heroes we've talked about, Lobo, who is DC's Deadpool, is what I would say.
It's like a Deadpool Wolverine Predator.
Yeah, kind of. Who was obviously outraged at the indignity of being turned into a child when he didn't know it was about to happen.
Every story where you bring up Lobo, he's always in a weird fucking dumb situation.
And he's just trying to get out of it.
He's just trying to get out of it. It's that time he hunted Santa Claus.
He killed Santa.
It's just, does he have serious hardcore stories?
See, I suppose he does a little bit, but also, as I said, he's basically Deadpool mixed with Ghost Rider. So he's got a cool bike, but he's also just an idiot. But he's also just constantly making jokes. But he does get involved in some really fucked up situations.
Interesting mix then. Sorry, that's a little aside on Lobo.
Yeah, but yeah, he's basically... Klarion pissed him off. And that's just a fun little story that Lobo turns up and is you just turned me into a child. He's not even involved in the storyline. He's I wasn't even on the Earth. I got turned into a fucking kid.
This isn't fair. I did nothing.
There's one slight moment after this was Klarion actually expressed extreme loneliness after losing his playmates following his defeat, because he doesn't really see humans as anything other than toys to kind of play with.
But he had little 12-year-old friends, though.
Yeah, he did for a little bit.
But then he could just make himself friends, though, surely.
Yeah, but he could, but what can you do? There's a small little bit of thing of in Infinite Crisis. He did one good thing in Infinite Crisis in that during the storyline, he aided the world's magic users in summoning the Spectre, who the Spectre is basically God, or has godlike powers, and so they summon the Spectre to basically help them win in Infinite Crisis.
And is the Spectre a Trump, just...
Oh, he's basically the trump card.
He's... you pull him in...
Once you pull Spectre in, you're... Who did we talk about a few weeks ago? I've talked about a few, godlike characters in the last few weeks. But even, Superman Prime, do you remember the Superman who lived in the sun? Spectre's taking him all day.
Really?
Spectre's magical.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so, properly. Yeah, you did do a busted character as well.
There was, I think the Lords, the order is like God, and then like someone else, I can't remember, and then Spectre. I think he's like third down.
That's insane. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling back through heroesforhire.ie, by the way.
Oh, very good, Shaun.
All of the Hero Zero episodes that we've ever done.
What's that, heroesforhire.ie?
Heroesforhire.ie.
Interesting.
Friends.
Yeah, that's good.
It was Captain Atom, I believe.
Captain Atom was very powerful as well, yes.
It was Radioactive Man, Eclipso.
Eclipso is actually the one I'm thinking of, because Eclipso fights Spectre. So
okay.
Eclipso is very much right there with him.
Then the Badger before that, by the way.
The Badger. That's the Badger. I don't think it's the Badger. And so in terms of powers and abilities, Shaun, in terms of Klarion, by the way, as I said, there's so much storyline. If you want to just read the wiki of this guy, like, I dare you to read the first paragraph and be like, yeah, I can deliver this to people and break this down. I read it 4 times and I was like, there's no way.
I usually, when I pick a Hero Zero character, I gauge like the complexity by how many other tabs I have to open to reference things.
I had like 7. I was like, what? Who's he? Like, what? Like the characters I've never heard of. Like, I'm like, what? Like this random demon who's appeared in 3 issues. Who's
like
he?
Critical to this one storyline.
Okay, so powers and abilities. He obviously has a psychic link. Him and Teakle have a psychic link together. And you always see him basically holding the cat whenever you see him. He's always like rubbing Teakle's head. You can see through Teakle's eyes as well, if need
cool.
be. He's got magic, obviously. He's one of the strongest, most powerful magicians of all time. He's got dimensional travel, so he can just travel between dimensions whenever he wants. And he doesn't demonstrate the ability and naively throws himself through these dimension barriers without even realising it. He's just, because he's not fully trained. He's just pure chaos.
Right, so it's kind of like an America Chavez thing where can open a portal but can't control it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's got energy projection. He's able to obviously use magical items, telekinesis, energy absorption, necromancy. He's able to summon and control the dead, which is really cheers him up.
That's a power on its own, I just want to say.
He's got, I'm always going to read this wrong, divination. That sounded weird in my head when I said it.
You have to pronounce it like an Irish farmer is the thing.
Just divination, boy.
Divination.
Klarion can divine many events and situations, such as when he needed to search Gotham City for his lost family. He was able to do that, so he was just able to search it in his head.
Jesus.
He's got mind control, telepathy, phasing. He's got size alteration, transformation, transmutation. He's able to turn people into stone, basically. Illusion casting, energy transference. He's able to put magic into things. Occultism.
What's occultism?
Klarion is extremely skilled in the use of magic and knows several advanced spells, such as the forming of a Horrigal, which is a soul brokering, and how to steal magic from others. So he's able to steal magic from everyone else, if needs be.
How did he fight this dude?
Well, he sunk a fucking continent.
Like, does he just get bored in most of his stories?
That's it.
That's insane.
He's 12 and he just does shit and then he's like, I'm bored now, might move away.
It's literally like, like you're 12 and you're playing superheroes with your friends. Yeah. And you're like, I fire a magic blast at you. Oh, well, I have a magic shield, so you can't affect... Like, he's a 12-year-old with ADHD and that's his superpower.
And he can just, whatever he thinks of at the time, and then if he just gets bored of destroying something, he's like, it's kind of run its course. I'm going to go over there and just do something else over here.
And sometimes he puts it back the way it was, I'm assuming.
Probably not. He's bored now, walk away. His only power limitation is the fact that if he remains separated from Teakle from long periods of time, then he can lower in power.
And is the cat a magic cat, or is it like
it's more of an
regular
anchor?
Cat?
So when he has the cat, he's able to like hit the magic from his dimension kind of gets to like flows through him, and so once he doesn't have the cat for a long time, his powers drop severely.
This is going to be an unpopular question.
Yeah.
Could Superman not just laser the cat in half? Could Batman not do one fucking well-placed batarang to the skull of that cat?
I feel like it might be more difficult to kill the cat than you think, as the cat is kind of also imbued with power.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was an alternate storyline where the cat was like a separate character in like the villains.
Okay.
Just because it's a magical cat as well.
Yeah, but it's on board with everything.
Oh, it's
Klarion
pure
is
evil.
doing.
Just it's into chaos. Like it's a cat.
Fine.
Sean, have you ever met a cat?
All cats are into chaos. That's true.
It just likes chaos. He has his equipment. He formerly had a cruciform, which was a small one that allows control over dead flesh. It's pretty good.
Your standard cruciform, of course.
Of course. And yeah, that's kind of all of his powers. It goes on for 2 pages in terms of powers and abilities. He has every power.
He has every power, and you have to be like there's 2 ways to beat him: is you wait till he gets bored and you just like hold out, or you do what Vandal Savage did and you make a deal.
Yeah.
And you offer him something more.
You offer him something shinier.
Yeah, something shinier and newer. I like the fact that he's a child with all of this power, and he behaves like a child.
And once again, Sean, I think you'd like Young Justice. You know what I mean?
I'm definitely going to watch it, Connor. By next week, probably.
Since episode 1, nearly 4 years on,
yeah,
not one episode has been watched.
It's become a thing now.
Yes, that's the thing. Now you can't watch it.
It's like how you refuse to watch things that I like.
That's not true. I watched them all for the Patreon.
Have you watched Sandman?
No.
You should watch Sandman. It's pretty good. It's a DC character. You'd love it.
I'll watch Sandman when you watch Young Justice.
I'll watch Young Justice soon.
In a time I don't want to specify.
In a time that suits me.
So Sean, that is my review, or my report on Klarion the Witch Boy. I hope Connor and Lorraine enjoyed it. I hope I got across some ideas, because he's in the show. He's also just a dickhead who's like super powerful and then just gets bored. It's like, I'm sick of this.
I thought it was very good. As someone who knew zero about this character and doesn't have like Young Justice to base it off, he does sound like a dickhead. But
also, if
really
you Google him, he looks exactly what you think he looks like.
Klarion, DC Comics.
Oh, here we go. He looks like the kid from The Omen with a cat.
Yeah, he does. He looks like an absolute shitbird.
So I think that's it, Sean.
I think that's it. Would you like me to take us out, Connor?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Monday with an episode of Movie Mondays. We'll then be back on Wednesday with an episode of Weird News Wednesdays.
Maybe.
And then maybe. Oh, Jesus. Well, we'll talk about that later. And then on Friday, we'll have another episode of Hero or Zero. We did put out a episode on the Patreon. We did a review of another famous, excellent DC character, Connor. We reviewed Catwoman from 2004.
It's the worst movie we've ever done.
It's actually offensive how bad it is. But we talked about it. So head on over to the Patreon if you want to listen to that. And thank you to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. We hope you enjoyed that episode. The link to that is down below, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Merch store then is heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter is at Heroes for Hire pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire podcast. And the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
And I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I've been Connor Lawler.
I've been Sean Meehan.
And we shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.